So there has been some controversy in the last couple of days, a little bit over the pond.
What's the line from Eminem? Um, Controversy. Oh fuck, I can't remember now.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. But yeah, it seems like the
FBC,
celebrities of
no, guilty.
today's have really been getting themselves in hot water with their inability to really police themselves out in public. And what I mean by this is you got to understand that you have a public image and people will always either try and take advantage of it or what you do will come to light. And what we're talking about is the situation with young Philly in Britain, where he was in Australia. And I guess he had an incident with a young lady and he was arrested the last week and charged with rape allegations.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the AMSMR from my mustache. Anyways, yeah. I'm just a little bit goofy right now.
Mhm.
So you had a little scenario. Right now he's innocent until proven guilty, or at least that's how it works in the
Mhm.
West. And he's in Australia, so
Oh,
he's down under in many ways than not one. With that being said, he got himself in a little bit of hot water. Legally, the allegations came out, and now everyone's just like, restraining orders, all that. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
no, we
But
don't mess with you.
yeah, but like a lot of people are falling off him. So the big reason why this is kind of getting a little bit of flack before he even got a chance to go to trial, because today is his first day in trial, is a lot of people are pulling away from him. His brand deals with like Heinz, they're pulling away. Perplex kind of said, you know what, we don't want you repping our clothes. Jim Shark said, you know what, like, thanks for coming out, but we rather have somebody else for our dating show. And then he's supposed to do like a cooking show, and they're like, you're already in enough fire. We don't need you bunning up this. So, like, you just
I
gotta
mean,
pull away.
to me, it's relative to the Jonathan Majors situation where a lot of the information has not come out yet, but the public eye has already made up their decision on what they think about him. And
It's not a public eye. A lot of people were kind of like, yo, he was cool. It was Disney that came back
well,
and
yeah,
said, yo, you,
sorry,
yeah,
I misspoke.
corporate.
Corporate interest have come back and said that we're pulling back without knowing exactly what's happening. And I think that's very dangerous because it sets a narrative. Like the public is responsive to what is happening in your life or at least in your public persona of life, like what's out there in the media.
Mhm.
And to see people distancing themselves away from you almost makes you look guilty just like that.
It's a catch-22, right? Because from a social standpoint, as people, we should be at least seeking the truth and
Facts.
saying, hey, you know what, let's understand the situation and kind of take that in perspective. But unfortunately, a lot of these companies, they have to be reactional in regards to it to protect their brand.
Mm.
And unfortunately, a lot of times when companies kind of stuck around and waited for the verdict, like let's say it's just like guilty,
Yeah.
gavel gets dropped. There's no way a company's going to be able to respond quick enough to say, you know what, we've distanced ourselves with it, because it's just like you affiliated or associated with someone who was guilty.
No, that's
That
facts.
that narrative will kind of roll back from the beginning of the situation. No matter what a company says, hey, you know what, innocent proven
Mm.
guilty. We let the courts make a decision. We didn't want to do like make it presumptuous or even sway people's opinion with our brand. It's kind of one of those things.
But
So
I think they're going to do it anyway. Because what I've noticed is when the public eye gets a hold of stuff like this, when
mhm,
somebody is in that situation, it never turns out like, even when the information comes out that they're innocent or vice versa, they can never recover from it.
well,
No matter which way it
pe-
swings, it does not come back ever.
people are stupid. Like in all honesty, it's just like we we live in the information age where
Facts.
people can gather and generate their own views and opinions and stuff like that. But we're more governed by mass hysteria and group decision making than ever. And I think that's what goes hand in hand.
No, you're
So,
correct.
and the danger that comes with it, because people jump on bandwagons, they kind
Mhm.
of make the presumptuous things, they kind of go whatever, and they refuse to educate themselves enough to try and understand the situation or come to it. Like, we're not quantifying that the allegations are appropriate. Like,
Mhm.
when acts of um you know,
Any heinous act.
yeah, any hands. So violence, killing, even fraudulent activity where people are being taken advantage of, or in this case, you know what?
No Diddy on his side.
engaging in activities that are not idealistic or wholesome. That's not what we're getting at. It's just the fundamental fact that, as Lip is saying, that decisions are being made before all the information is gathered, and it's just one of those things where, like, for him, he's losing lots of money. Like the he's in these situations where he's losing millions of endorsements and all that sort of stuff, and notwithstanding the money, his
It's
career.
personal. It's not even just that. I think it's the personal environment that he's in because think about it this way. He has a mother, he has a father, he has people that are attached to him, chunks. Like his best friend in entire all of this has to go through this entire situation, either defending a friend that they know to be their friend and presuming him to be innocent.
I don't know.
And that's the trickiness of this entire thing.
I've heard some stuff from personally from Chunks. I wish I knew Chunks. Not, I just wish I was at that level to know
Mhm, yeah, yeah.
Chunks. But with that being said, he's been saying some stuff. Like, he's just like, you know what? He acts away when he's in certain circumstances, and it makes it a little bit more questionable. So whether or not he
But
was,
that's the problem with what I'm trying to say is that you're now creating an environment where your best friends are questioning you. It's not in a situation where you can be defend yourself and then let the allegations come as they're coming.
what
You are in now a situation where your personal relationships are at risk.
what?
Even if this is all right, let's just take this and play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say everything all right, let's say everything that they said was correct,
Mm-hmm.
right? He goes to jail
Mm-hmm.
and the entire dichotomy is over. That wrecks Chunks' success as well.
Not
It
really.
creates so many problems with all the other people he had attached with because now those people are almost like, by verbatim, like they're almost attached to the situation in a
No,
way.
no, no, not really, not really, because it's different when it comes to affiliation. It's like sitting here and saying, like, somebody that we know personally is engaged in activity. It's just like you're friends with them because of the fact that there might be other things about the person that kind of weighs out. Because no one's 100%. Everybody has things, idiosyncrasies and
Facts, yeah.
problems and stuff like that. Otherwise, everyone would love everybody, and
That's true.
we wouldn't have wars. Ukraine and Russia would be best friends and all that sort of stuff. So, like, it's more difficult on a social aspect because you're coming at something different, right? You don't have a one note opinion like brands have,
Mm.
right? Like, one minute, we're big fans of, like, Coke, and then they or Pepsi, and then they throw out a tasteless commercial, and they have to go on damage control because even though it might resonate with some people on a grand scale,
Mm.
they're sitting and trying to appeal to everyone in one,
Mm.
like brushstroke. So because of all that aspect, they have to be hyper conscious on how many people are we going to affect. Is the yays gonna outweigh the nays
Okay.
and kind of move forward? So that's why it's two different conversations. But when it comes to a personal aspect, like, look at many people get incarcerated at the same day, right? Like, that's
Yeah,
like
that's
sitting
true.
here and
That's very
saying,
true.
like, like, for example, like OJ Simpson, right?
Mm.
Like, we're not going after his whole family. People aren't throwing eggs at his mom's house and stuff like that. Or even P. Diddy, right? Like,
Mm.
he's going through stuff right now, and, like,
They're going after the kids, but yeah,
but the kids are kind of dumb. Like, his son kind of outs them, be like, "Oh, you went in the wrong house. We're all stacked up over here. You're
yeah, yeah.
three doors down." Like, his kids are idiots.
Mm.
But, like, they could separate themselves. It's more like, the allegations with Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah,
Like,
same thing.
we're not going after Blanket and the
And
rest of them,
Prince Jackson and the rest of them, yeah.
and saying, "Oh yeah, you guys are pedophiles through associations," or I'm probably gonna have to blur that word out
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
all know YouTube doesn't like that. But it's kind of one of those things, at the end of the day. So, going back to our original aspect, it's unfortunate that these things come out.
Mm.
And one of the big things that's going on trending, speaking of some of these other people that we referred to, it's absolute power corrupts
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yep.
And we're finding that a lot more of these celebrities are leveraging their influence and kind of going that way. So, like we talked about earlier off camera, how, when a lot of these people become famous,
Mm.
they kind of have that,
They black
like,
out, bro.
well, yeah,
It's like,
it's like
you got the ultimate power
it's like
doing what you want.
it's like a sugar rush,
It's
right? Like,
pure drug, bro.
you can kick in the door and start telling people, it's just like, "Yo, I want that and da da da." It's just like, in some cases they can get away with it
Yeah,
because it's
that's
very,
facts.
like, some conscious artists that are going out there and like, yo, we'll shut down a Gucci store and buy up a bunch of everything and blah blah blah. And they'll just throw their credit card on the table and call
Mhm.
it a day. But on other aspects, like to a certain extent, I wouldn't be surprised if a person walked into Gucci store, someone famous like a Drake or
Mhm.
Beyonce or something like that, and they're looking at something. I'm quite certain the store manager would be like, "Yo, if I could say that you're at my store,
It creates better. Yep.
you can just take that jacket or you can
Mhm.
just take that purse or whatever they're eyeballing,
Exactly.
right? And just be like, all right, bet, like no worries." So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like that. And then now we're seeing when it comes to allegations and stuff like that, these people are just going around and I'm not going to say we're not going to make claims
No,
because until the courts
that's
go out,
factuals.
fine.
Yeah.
But I think one of the points that you're trying to get at is the responsibility aspect and
Yeah.
knowing that with these like another quote, with great power comes great responsibility, and a lot of these artists are going out, and I guess the reason why a lot of people are coming up so angry
Mhm.
is because they're like, yo, you have the ability to move mountains
Mhm.
and you're doing the shenanigans, like perfect
No,
example.
that comes into my final thought though.
Right.
Like really does. Like my final thought on the situation is as a celebrity or as a person moving forward, you need to understand that the steps you make are always in the light. There's nothing you do in the dark anymore. Like you can spend your money to protect yourself as much as you want. You can have handlers, you can have people paid off, but eventually anything you do is going to be outed. So the best thing you can do is try your best to be a pure and whole person as possible. Not necessarily trying to make mistakes, but just mitigate the things that could happen because of the fact that at any point in time, your entire life can change. Every bit of your hard work can be taken from you. And that to me is dangerous. Like, I've never been a major celebrity at anything, but I've been a pseudo celebrity in the small little world that I've been in. And I've always kept that into my mind because I knew for a fact going into strange towns, meeting strange people was dangerous. Like, yeah, we're having fun, but in the back of my mind, I know anything can happen. So I've always been on my P's and Q's. Like I've been the only black guy in an all white town, knowing that at any point in time some girl can call the police on me. Like I've been in that, and these are situations that are always in my mind.
I think the reason why you're a little bit more hyper conscious is because of the fact that your celebrity or your influence doesn't give you the get out of jail free card. I think it's one of those things that these celebrities versus us being just mere mortals
Mhm.
is the simple fact that they feel that they can Hadouken money at it in a
No, it's
way.
true. No, you're right. I think Diddy thought that his entire career. He
Right.
thought he could just pay as much as he wanted, and then the situation would disappear.
Either that or it's just like you have the means, you have lawyers, you have this. Like even when he got into all this trouble, he
Oh, so you can
hopped on his
control it.
boat and just disappeared. So they
Mhm.
have the ability to to artificially create options for them. They're not restricted gates. Meanwhile, us, it's just like we're only limited based off the resources that we have, right? So
That's
if we
facts.
don't know who we can call, or if we don't know how we're going to get away from the situation or whatever,
Mhm.
then we're going to be a little bit more mindful, more demure about the whole situation. Because again, we're limited.
No, that's
So
facts. All right. Till next time,
yeah.
I want y'all to put it in the comments. Tell us what your thoughts and your think on this entire situation. Please let us know what your entire feeling on the situation. Do you feel like the evidence is enough to condemn him? Do you feel like do we need to wait? Do we need to be more responsible as a society before we judge people? Or is it the fact that you've made the mistake and you are a celebrity gives us the right to basically blacklist these people? Till next time, please like, subscribe, and share.